And welcome to another episode of the Two Fans Podcast. I'm your co-host, Joshua Ament.
And I'm your other co-host, Ari Jesselson.
And you can't see us, but we have the biggest smiles on our faces right now because we're finally, after however long it's been, back on what we hope will be a regular 2 episodes a week schedule. And we say that, and I know I'm probably jinxing myself, but we are back and we plan on staying.
Yes, we do. It's great to be back, honestly. I kind of missed this. I'm not going to lie. And I think our last episode was...
I remember the last episode, just for context. Yeah. Back then,
it was
the Cubs and the Mets were both in playoff contention.
Oh, don't remind me. We can talk about
you think you have it bad. You think you have it bad.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about.
Oh, yes, we do.
And I think the best way to do it is our annual thing, Monday recap. And sadly, I don't have the clown horn with me. But next time, you'll hear that sound again.
All right. I mean, of course, this is a Monday where we've missed a lot of Mondays before. We've had champions crowned. We've had Olympics. We've had a new COVID variant. We've had just about everything.
Yeah. And it's been a lot. So how do we start this off?
I think we should start off probably with what's probably been the biggest story over the Olympics, and that's Simone Biles. Of course, like just about everyone in the U.S. Hyping her up as this is going to be a GOAT performance for her, and we didn't expect anything less. And of course, for those who don't know what happened, first of all, if you've been living under a rock. Second of all, at the beginning of the team event, something had happened. She didn't feel all that confident on the vault, and she decided to drop out of the team event, and I believe 3 out of the 4 individual events, which upset a lot of people. But of course, there were a lot more that came to her support of just sort of taking care of mental health, which I feel like has been a theme for sports as of late. We've seen it with Osaka in the French Open, and of course even beyond. We see that just all across the board, and this really is no exception.
Yeah, and listen, even COVID took a lot of everyone, both us and celebrities and everyone alike. It's been hard, and people need to take a break. Mental health is the most important thing you have. I don't fault her for dropping out of the Olympics for most of the competition. I don't fault her for anything, because at the end of the day, she has to take care of herself. It's not like she's putting everyone. She shouldn't feel like she's holding everyone's weight on her back. She shouldn't feel what she had to feel for that much stress to be built up. If she needs to take that off, even during the Olympics, she had to take that off. And I'm obviously one of the millions of people who support Simone Biles during this thing.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like one more thing we should that I don't feel like is being taken into account in this kind of story, because basically with the term in gymnastics, I believe it's called the twisties. Think of it in baseball like the yips, where it's basically she's getting lost in the air and just lost her confidence there, which can have some pretty lasting consequences if it actually affects the performance. So I cannot fault her one bit, again, for dropping out, and even for coming back in the balance beam and winning bronze. Of course, we have to applaud her for that.
Of course, yeah. I was gonna say, or how much more can we say? Hats off to her. For honestly, and I think that shows everyone. Everyone has to take a mental health break. Everyone has to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So that's my skill.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of hoping you'd introduce the next topic, because I don't really know where to go from there.
That's the issue. Neither do I. Well, I feel like the Olympics are barely talked about this year. Just kind of have one of those things that, oh God, it's canceled and nothing at all. And it's like, oh, it's happening. It's like, oh, it should it be happening with this new variant? Then it happened. Then we kind of made fun of the U.S. team for obvious reasons in basketball. Then it passed, and that's kind of it. So let's keep it on the Olympics. The USA men's team. I think there was a lot of talk that this year What about them?
Yeah, there was. And I feel like, I mean, if there's one thing this showed, it's that like the gap is very much closing. Is that like I feel like just about every year in the NBA, up until about 5, 10 years ago, you like there wasn't even a question of if you put the five best guys from the US against the five best guys from the rest of the world, who would win? Is it the US would come out on top every single time? Now, not so much. You could probably most people would give the edge to the world. Like you got, I mean, the past three MVPs in Giannis, Jokic, Luka, a future MVP, Gobert, Embiid. Like the list just goes on. And of course, while the U.S. is still very, very dominant, they show that they're far from unbeatable at this point, even losing a game to France, the silver medalists.
Yeah, and also a big issue is also listen. It's not like the 2018 where you have future Hall of Famers go to the goats, but there still is a great team. I mean, Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich are two of the greatest coaches in NBA history, arguably top five. But my issue is with this roster. You got Tatum, you got Middleton, you got Lillard, you JV McGee, Zach LaVine, Keldon Johnson, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Jamal Grant, Kevin Durant, Dan Medell, Devin Booker. You have a lot of dudes who are shoot first. I'm the guy. It's all about me. You have a lot of me attitude on the team. You know, I think that doesn't really clash well because when we see the great success of those past teams, it's not only them in the NBA, not only them on the court, but they have great off the court chemistry. That's why you can look back at videos and you'll see, oh, the 2012 NBA team. It's like LeBron, D Wade, Bosh, all those Melo. They're all just like chilling in a fucking gas station eating lunch. And then on the same video from later that night, you'll see them like dropping 40 points each. There wasn't a great chemistry clash, and I'm honestly surprised that. Listen, I want Slovakia to win. I want Luka to win a gold medal. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think USA deserved it.
Then you might want Slovenia to win too.
Yeah, I mean I don't know why I want them to win, but yeah, I want Slovenia to win. Thank you for that. Some things never change. But I guess for the USA's team, I think it did surprise everyone how they did lose two exhibition matches. I know they weren't the biggest deals in the world, but when in your previous history you've only lost two exhibitions, and then in a 1 week span you lose two games, it's going to be a talking point. I'm just kind of surprised USA actually pulled up because there's a lot of times where we've seen that, hey, maybe these aren't the guys to do it. Maybe this isn't the team to get gold.
Yeah, this was definitely a wake-up call for Team USA. Like for a country that like just in the sport of basketball has been a shoe-in for gold just by sheer talent alone. That of course with the like keeping in mind that LeBron, Curry, Kyrie, etc., so many players opted out of the Olympics. But this still shows like that when you're sending Keldon Johnson to the Olympics, is that like a lot of these other teams, I think just about every single team have multiple guys in the NBA that are playing, and that you're not going to win anymore on talent alone. That you really do need to build that chemistry.
Yeah, and we're in a new age of the NBA. This is something we've never seen before. We're in a new time period, whether you like it or not. Obviously, the game's evolving, but it's drastically different. You need great team chemistry and you need great planning, and that was something Team USA was barely able to do. So I think we should actually stay on the basketball topic and talk about this. You want to talk about the playoffs, or do you want to talk about the draft first?
Well, first of all, I just want to give a quick shout out to the women's team who absolutely dominated their side of the tournament, winning what is their 7th straight gold, 8th straight?
Yeah,
it's one of the two.
It's 7th straight.
Yeah, I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, that does also either tie or break a record in terms of the longest consecutive gold medal streak by any country in any team sport, men's or women's. So again, I really should bring a hat to these, but hats off to them.
Exactly. Hats off to them. They obviously deserved it.
Yeah. Now, of course, that wasn't the only basketball thing that happened, because we also had the finals, and we crowned the Milwaukee Bucks champions.
Yeah, they won in 6 games. This is the first finals ever where everyone on the teams, both the Suns and the Bucks, didn't win a championship. So this is going to be the first championship for every player, no matter who won. And I know obviously you wanted some people wanted Giannis to win, some people wanted Book and Chris Paul to win. I think the only people I think the fans didn't want to win was the Bucks coach because he's ass. We can all admit that, right? He's ass. He only got lucky because Mike. Oh God, that's a big ass name. Bud
Budenholzer?
Budenholzer. Hey, I got it. Yeah, no one wanted Budenholzer to win, but everyone else was good. I'm gonna be honest. I picked my thing. I flipped a coin, and that's who I was doing for bets. So that's why I wanted the Bucks to win. But I was fine anyway. The thing is, I remember Giannis saying something before. It's like this team is best when we're humble, right? And when you look back at their when they both won their conferences, you see the Suns partying. You see them seeing that they already won, but the Bucks are ready. They're confident. They're patient. They're just waiting for that moment. It's kind of like Kobe mentality if you see in the videos, just how everything's not done until it's done.
No, yeah, this was definitely like I can't remember, probably because I can only remember back to finals that either the Warriors or the Lakers were in. That like I could be happy for whichever team actually won it all. That it was exciting basketball to watch, and like I can't say like I found that like in a while. Um, and just of course we have to, I mean, credit both Giannis and Chris Paul, who are kind of like at that point. I want to say we're kind of on different chapters of the same story, of where
Yeah.
both of them were widely respected as some of the best guys in the league, and yet haven't won it all yet. This was their chance. Chris Paul, I mean, I don't see a reason why the Suns won't be back in a similar situation next year. But for Giannis, for Chris Middleton, who I think we now realize we really underestimated, and for that entire Bucks team, it's just great to see them all get some of the respect they deserve, and in particular, Giannis, a two-time
Yeah.
MVP, who I mean, I feel like just about every single like talking head I hear, or at least have heard before the championship, was just about his flaws, about how he's not a winner, he can't shoot. Well, he's a two-time MVP. He's a champion now. The core of that team is locked up for the foreseeable future. Granted, they may lose some key role players, but I think if all goes well, because this is a sports podcast, and I do need some hot take. When all is said and done, Giannis may end up being right alongside Jordan and LeBron in the GOAT
Well,
conversation.
the thing is, that's not really a debate. Like I was just gonna bring up the point. Also, shout out to Devin Booker. He was great on the Suns. Really poured a lot out on the court. But when you look at Giannis, he's a five-time All-Star, five-time All-NBA, a championship, a four-time All-Defense, the 2013 All-Rookie Team, 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. He has an 2020 All-Star MVP. He's a Finals MVP, a two-time MVP, and Most Improved Player for the 2016 season. I think he's already top five right now. I think he's top five in this league right now. He's arguably top 10 in all-time NBA. I don't think that's an argument at this point. He's definitely top 15, top 10. For me, he's top 10. He's somewhere in the 6 area. Because from all his accolades, from what he puts on the court, we have not seen a player like this. I think you could draw comparisons to Shaq and David Robinson. But even so, you can't bring a guy up like Giannis is. And I think he's going to finish
We can
top
agree
three.
on I think we can agree on these two things. Number one, he is he is the most exciting player to watch in basketball right now. Agreed?
Yes. Yeah, agreed.
No, number two, he will run the NBA for the next decade.
Oh, he will. That's going to be fun to watch.
Indeed, it will. But hey, Giannis and the Bucks are not the only champions we've crowned, because the Tampa Bay Lightning also went back to back and won their second
Yeah.
straight Stanley Cup. And
Honestly, for me, this Final Four sucked ass in the NHL. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's
I mean,
personal reasons for
I
some.
don't think you were watching the Islanders Lightning series, because that was something special.
It was great hockey. The problem is the fan bases. I don't want any of those fan bases to win really. That's my issue with it. But I think that what we saw on the rink was great hockey. Some of the best hockey I've seen in a while. The problem is I don't want to root for it because I know those fans. It's not just about the players; it's about the fans too. And those fans, like, listen, we're both from Westchester. I'm from New Show. You're from White Plains. We got a dude from the Lightning who won that cup. He deserves it. I'm never gonna remember his name. Kevin Shattenkirk. I got to meet him. I got to hold the cup. Great experience. But I don't want the rest of Tampa Bay to have that experience, you know? I'm a greedy son of a bitch. So I didn't want any of these teams to win.
Yeah. I mean, that still doesn't take away from what the team itself like absolutely deserves it. I mean, like just about as dominant as you can be in the face of some pretty great opponents. I mean, you had the first round already an in-state rivalry, like both arenas were packed. Like, of course, second round against a very strong young Carolina team. That 7-game series with the Islanders in the semifinals, and then just the nail in the coffin, that the five game Stanley Cup victory over Montreal, that like you could just tell this team at all times was firing on all cylinders. And you can talk about the cap exploitation with Kucherov, that yeah, it's a little bit manipulating the rules, but they still technically followed them. So like, what can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, with Kucherov, with Braden Point, with Victor Hedman, like there are so many of these name brand top 20 players in the league that you forget they also have the best goaltender in the league in Conn Smythe winner Andrei Vasilevsky,
Yeah,
ending every single series with a shutout. Although going back to last year's Stanley Cup final too, it is so great to see him get the respect and attention that he deserves as well.
yeah, no, and the players do deserve it. Obviously, what they did was incredible. But the problem is the fan bases. But Lightning, congratulations again. You guys obviously deserve it. And while we're on hockey, I think we have to talk about. We don't talk about hockey. That's just not us. When are we going to have this chance? Henrik Lundqvist, Rangers GOAT, NHL GOAT, probably arguably the greatest goalie of all time, announced his retirement from the NHL last week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you as a Rangers fan probably have a lot more to say on him than me. I mean, just as like an onlooker in Milwaukee City, just knowing like how impactful he's been to the Rangers and their fan base and all of that, like take it away.
Exactly. Listen, 15 seasons, he had to retire because of heart inflammation. He was on the Capitals roster, but they obviously he has to take care of his health first, you know? I'm gonna say this. He's the greatest goalie of all time. No doubt about that. Maybe because I'm a Rangers fan, I know a little more, but he's the greatest goalie of all time. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Just congratulations on a great career. He seems fine with his retirement. He seems to be at peace with it. He's gonna be with his family, so obviously great for him, you know. But congratulations on that great career, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, on the topic of some longtime NHL veterans, this is actually something an error and omission or an omission from our earlier mega recap that that Patrick Marleau, uh, towards the end of the regular season, broke the record for total games played in the NHL at 1,779. I
Ooh.
mean, I don't know how you can play hockey for that long, but kudos to him for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just impressive, you know. That's a resume thing you put on. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm just kind of shocked. So, and I guess listen, we've seen a lot of old players retire. We've seen a lot of retirees. Let's talk about the new guys coming up in the league. We missed three, maybe even four drafts that happened recently. So how do you want to start this one?
I will be very candid and say that I am not a scout in any sport to the slightest extent. So I really can't tell you who won the draft, who lost the draft, which draft we're even talking about. I'll just say I wish nothing for the but the best for all these guys, and hopefully things work out for every single one of them. I don't really know. I know that sounds boring, but like I really don't know what else to say.
So I guess I'll have some notes, I guess, for this. Jacksonville, don't fuck up Trevor Lawrence. We will hunt you down. Kyle Pitts, congratulations on being the highest selected tight end in NFL history. Jamar Chase, over the greatest offensive lineman prospect. You know, like right now, it just doesn't feel like the need. I guess for the Bears, Justin Fields. I know you're a Mitch guy, but I feel like Fields does bring a new hope to it if they could develop him right. That's a big issue with the Bears.
Here's the thing about the Bears. Matt Nagy is still there.
Yeah, exactly. Like they didn't get rid of the problem at all. What's it called? Michael Parsons. Hopefully, seems to be pretty good. Mac Jones, return of the on the Patriots. Probably Bill Belichick doing what he does best. Kwity Paye has the greatest name in this draft class. We gotta say that right here. Hopefully, he does good, but we're always gonna remember that name. Najee Harris, great dude. Sad to see him go to the Steelers because the Steelers, he's like, he's got a personality thing. Hopefully, Najee could balance it out. Travis Etienne, really? Like, I'm sad that he got hurt, but it didn't really feel like the move for them. We got Greg Newsome, so that was awesome for us. And we also got Jock, so that was also really cool. Elijah Moore going second round for the Jets is going to be big for them. Hopefully, that builds up for the pass game. I think that's, for me, just we're going to lightning round these drafts. Kate Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Scott Barnes, and Jalen Suggs. That's the order from 1 to 5. Great draft picks, can't really evaluate them, but hopefully they turn out great. I think it was really awesome how the NBA gave an honorary draft pick to Terrence Clark, who was a Duke prospect supposed to be in the draft, who sadly passed away at the age of 19 this past year. I think it was really respectable of them to do so, and may rest in peace. And congratulations to Charlie Collier of Texas for being the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft. She goes to the Dallas Wings, a trade from New York. Great player, one of the greatest college players this year. It was a little bit of argument between her and Ari McDonald. I'm glad McDonald went third, and they got in Dallas Wings. Look out for them; they have a great team. Awakuya from Finland, great player also, and Dallas is building a great championship team. And I say follow the WNBA because it's really underrated.
Yeah, don't really know what more to add to that. I mean, I know I said it, drafts aren't really my element, but yeah, I don't really know where to go from there.
Listen, I get it. You have to watch a player before you could draft him, before you could like actually have an opinion on him. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, of course.
And I think it's that time we rip off the Band-Aid. Do you want to talk about the Cubs or the Mets first?
I will tell you right now, I'm in a public space, so I don't know how loud I can yell without getting yelled at. But here goes nothing. The Chicago Cubs traded away Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, Craig Kimbrell, Ryan Tepera, Andrew Chafin, Jock Peterson, Jake Marisnick. I'm probably forgetting someone else too.
But
why do you there are some parts of that, like Kimbrell, I can get. Baez, Bryant, if the haul is good, I may be able to justify it. But Rizzo, the heart and soul of the Chicago Cubs since the moment he stepped into Wrigley Field. And not just of the Cubs, of Chicago as a whole. And what do you even trade him away for? Honestly, that's an honest question because I don't know who they got back. You are the Chicago Cubs. At least 20 other fan bases would kill for the revenue you are declining to spend just for the sake of not wanting to spend. Nobody in the Ricketts family should even be allowed to set foot within 50 miles of Wrigleyville. Sell the fucking team.
Okay, so to answer your question though, Anthony Rizzo was traded to the Yankees for prospects. Outfielder Kevin Alcantara, pitching prospect Alexander Vizcaino, and the Cubs are going to pick the remainder of Rizzo's $16.5 million salary. Yeah, but I gotta agree with you. What the fuck, Chicago? You know, like, not only do you trade one of your best players in franchise history, you trade the heart and soul of your team and city. That'd be like if the Yankees traded Derek Jeter. That'd be like if the Mets traded David Wright. You don't, even if he's on the decline, you don't trade your hero. You don't trade the face of the city, not the face of the team, the face of the city. That's just disgusting on Chicago's part. That's just disgusting on the owner's part. Because the city, the fans, the team has nothing to do with that. That is disgusting. That is a classless act on the part of the owners.
I mean, it really says something when the one team in Chicago that I can root for, and I guess kind of the White Sox too, but the Bulls, a team that has decided not to do anything since the 90s until these past couple of years with Arturas Karnisovas. I mean, I have some comments I want to make about the Bulls, but I'll let you vent on the Mets right now because that story's getting spicy.
So that's what you choose where I start from because we could be here for a long ass time.
So they were atop the NL East at some point in the past couple of months.
Very surprising, actually. I knew. Here's the thing with the Mets, though. I'm sorry I cut you off, but what we do, we build up hope. We're a new team. We're not injured anymore. Everything's happy-go-lucky. We win a few games. We lose a few games. We win one every 4 fucking games, but that's just normal. Then time by August, we do good. I was like, hey, maybe we can make the playoffs. And then we fucking crashed down. But this time we did a little early. We got on top early, and then we crashed all the way down. Not only that, we had good trades. I mean, we got Francis Lindor, one of the best infielders of our time, of our generation, you could say even. Like he's definitely one of the greatest. He's definitely one of the greatest Cleveland baseball players. You know, I wouldn't say he's the greatest of all time. I wouldn't say he's the greatest at what he does, but he's definitely He's definitely top 5 in the league. You know, top 10 in the league at what he does. You can't make that argument for that, but yeah. Before he even plays for the team, he wants a mega contract. Remember I did with Bobby Bonilla? Yeah, that was fun also. So we gave him his 10-year, $341 million contract, making it the third largest in baseball history. And then he kind of declines this year. Like, he has an OPS of .686, which is the lowest in his career. I know the season's not over yet, but come on. He has a batting average of .224, which is also the lowest in his career. He has a slug average of .370, which is the lowest in his career also. You get where I'm going at. He really underperformed this year. It really wasn't him. The Mets obviously had a lot of injuries. Basically, our starting 9 were out. Whatever can be expected. I feel like for me, what's his name? Pistol Pete, Pete Alonso, Polar Bear Pete, whatever you want to call him. Great-ass dude. Alonso. He's been a little bit iffy this year. I still think he's good. He home run king, deserves it. I kind of wanted Mancini to win, but he still hasn't captured that magic of the fucking rookie season, which I hope he does again. I love him, and he's still a great guy, but he hasn't been obviously what he was in his rookie season. The pitching is we're wasting Jacob deGrom if we wasted David Wright. I think that's definitely an understatement. I'm trying to keep calm, you know. Diaz has been. I feel like I forgot about this year. Like, I don't even know if he's injured or not. I just feel like nothing happened this year with him. You know, he was part of that trade also, but what did he do for us? You know, What did he do? I'll tell you what he did. He played 4 games for us, 3.48 ERA. I'm sorry, he has 4. He played 51 games so far. He has 4 wins and 4 losses, a 3.48 ERA, which is the second highest in his career. And yeah, it's not looking good for him right now. It seems like we can't really do anything on offense as usual. We're winning every 3 out of 4 games. And then we fucking boo our fans for not supporting us. Listen, Mets fans, we fucking suck ass. We're not as bad as Yankee fans. We're not as bad as White Sox. We're not as bad as Red Sox fans. But we suck ass. We don't show up for our team. We like to cry and bitch about everything, but we don't show up. But as a player, you don't do that. For Lindor and Baez and everyone on the team to do that, you're just causing more controversy that you can't even back up. It's not like we're this top contending team who you know is going to win every year. It's not like the Patriots gave the bird to the opposite fan, to their own fans, because you know, hey, we're going to be Super Bowl champs. Well, Brady's Patriots. And my thing is, I'm afraid Lindor might turn to a locker room cancer or a team cancer. Obviously, he hasn't shown a great image in New York in the season so far. And I'm afraid he's going to turn to that. I'm just afraid for this team now. Because it seems like we could be good. We have the talent to do so. We just don't fucking show up.
Yeah, it seems like you're putting a lot of the blame on Lindor and that you might want him back in Cleveland with the Guardians. That's how you do a segue.
That is a great segue. Okay, so you do
it. Yeah, the Cleveland now Indians had stated at the beginning of the year that this would be the last under that moniker, that they would be searching for a new name. And a couple weeks ago, they came up with and released their new name, the Guardians, which I have 3 things to say. Number 1, I'm not a big fan of the logo and the font and whatever. Number 2, I really think it would have been cool if they had brought back the Cleveland Spiders. And number 3, the fact that those are my only 2 nitpicks shows that this is an upgrade.
Yeah, and it is an upgrade. I obviously have to agree with you. It could have looked a lot better. The logo could have been better. Everything could have just been better. It really looks like they slapped this in 15 minutes, but hey, it's not as bad as the Chargers logo. I think, yeah. Listen, you're doing the right thing at the end of the day. And I really don't know how it's just cool that they actually acknowledged it and did the right thing. You know, names can be changed. Obviously, not every. Obviously, you also have to look down the roots of it because, like we talked about this before, the Chiefs is of the old mayor. Know your battles is what I'm trying to say. But the name right for Cleveland, I completely get it. It was the right thing to do. And honestly, I don't know what else to say. It's not like where we got with like Dan Snyder, where he's like a very last minute, oh, the sponsor's going to pull out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely not. I feel like that's something that, I mean, I hope history remembers the difference between this and Dan Snyder. Of course, Snyder, this was like a last minute decision for him. He wanted to stick with the offensive name like all the way to the end, and he kind of did, really.
Yeah.
No, but Cleveland, their ownership, like they changed their logo a few years back. They had, even before sponsors started talking about anything, said we're gonna look into whether we should change our name or not. We said okay, we're gonna change it, and I feel like that's worth something.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. You know, you're doing the right thing at the end of the day. And it's not like, again, with Snyder, who should have a team, just like Spanos slipped. Josh and I talked about this before. We were texting about the Mets. I just had to bring it to fuck Spanos because when something goes wrong, it's Spanos' fault, you know? And I guess, hey, we are still talking about name changes after all. What about the Washington? We don't know yet. And we'll find that out later.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna take this, or?
No, you can take the beginning part.
Yeah. Are you getting the list up of the 8 names? Because I don't have it on hand. But
I think they narrowed it down to 3 names now.
Yeah, they narrowed it down to 3, although we don't know which 3 out of the 8 it is. And I'm gonna say, before you read them, I'm not really the biggest fan of any of them. I mean, just from me. But again,
I'm a fan of
every
2
single
of
one of them is better than what they had before.
Yeah. So obviously, if you don't know, we just talked about this. Washington, they became the football team last year because they're changing the name, the logo, the whole history of it, which right move, wrong idea because it was literally, oh, the sponsors won't support us if we don't change the name, so let's change the thing. And they know we're down to three names. We don't know which three of the eight, but we have the Armada. Yeah, Josh, you're the word guy. Armada, right?
Yeah, Armada.
So we have the Washington Armada, Washington Brigade, Washington Commanders, Washington Defenders, Washington Presidents, Washington Red Hogs, Washington Red Wolves, or the Washington Football Team. Obviously,
I'm a little bit
I'm loving.
disappointed that it's the Washington football team and not the Washington team of football for obvious reasons, but
WTF, man, WTF. Yeah, obviously I'm a fan of the football team. I think that's the funniest shit ever. Just like all those names and this football team. It's also kind of very retro, you know what I mean? I feel like it's something like in the 20s they would do. In the 1920s they would do. We're gonna have to start specifying shit like that soon. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, I feel like I should also
Um,
specify now that I'm not gonna go through every single moment and bleep everything out.
that's
That
fair.
would just be too much work at this point.
So, back to the news. So, yeah, I like the football team name. I think it's funny. I also think, Defenders works. Obviously, Red Wings, because there was a history of the African American Air Force, and I think that would have been really cool to tie those two back together. But it's whatever. You don't want to get too political, I guess, is the argument. But then you have the presidents, which is also a really stupid ass name. But then we can see a lot of jokes like the defendant, like very jokes. So I'm not going to say like recording, but you get the picture.
Yeah, I mean, don't really know where to go from here. I know I teased that I wanted to comment on the Bulls free agency. I feel like now's a good time to do that unless you have something else in mind.
I not really. I just think they did great this year. I think you should be excited for what they do.
Yeah, I feel like in places they did, and I really do like that GM Arturas Karnisovas is actually doing something with this team, actually has a plan, and looks like they are in the buying phase of the rebuild, and that's exciting to see when you've traded for Lonzo Ball, when you're signing Alex Caruso, when you trade for DeMar DeRozan, like, and I mean, adding into that Zach LaVine, Kobe White, rookie Ayo Dosunmu, like this is probably might be the deepest backcourt in the NBA. My problem comes in two things. Number one is the front court because they traded away Lowry Markkanen. They lost Daniel Tice to free agency. Is that basically they're gonna have to start play Vucevic and Patrick Williams heavy minutes at center and power forward respectively. And if either one of them goes down, I don't know what happens to this team. And number two is getting rid of a lot of draft capital. Of course, this comes also from the Vucevic trade where they lost a couple first rounders. They lost even more in the DeMar DeRozan trade. They got a lottery protected first rounder back when they traded away Larry Markkanen, but I don't really see that as much of a first rounder. So there is that makes me a little bit hesitant on the Bulls are going places this year, but it is enough to say that I'm excited for this year and for the future to see what's going to happen in this team.
Listen, it's gonna be interesting, but it's a step in the right direction, you know. So I think only time will tell, but it's looking not. It doesn't look bad at all. But if you guys do get a championship, D Rose got to get a ring. Even if he's not signing the team, if he retires, you got to give him that ring. Even if he's playing for the opposite team, he has to get
Yeah,
a
of
ring for
course.
Chicago. You know, that's the one rule. See, that's why I like when the Chiefs won and Eric Berry got like Jack. I was so disappointed. You know, because he was also one of those guys who poured his heart and soul. Like for D Rose, even if D Rose is playing against you guys, he still gets a ring. You lose, so D Rose gets that ring. That's it. That's how
No,
Chicago possessions for D
I
Rose.
don't think many people would be willing to disagree with you there.
Um,
So that, I mean, there are a couple of things truth be told, that we might want to go over. I mean, we're nearing the pennant chase in baseball. We're in the last month of the season. The NFL season is about to get started. Hockey and basketball will soon follow. And we will be back not just next Monday, but also hopefully on Fridays, where we can do a little bit more miscellaneous episodes. So we can do, of course, like season previews, midway points, or to check in leagues, and just other random stories we find, random topics we want to talk about. We'll be back with those hopefully on Fridays.
Yeah, and I think we got a lot of great stuff ready to go. You know, we're kicking off our season just like the NFL is, and we got a lot of great ideas. And also, hey, if you guys want to have an idea, you guys have a story for us, please let us know. We'll gladly do it.
Oh, and here, I'm already smiling because it's been a while since the outro.
I'll let you do it.
But thank you so much for listening to us and bearing with us. If you have any questions, comments, or something you want us to talk about, you can leave a comment down below on YouTube or email us at number2fanspodcast@gmail.com. We do this hopefully every single Monday and Friday. Please don't jinx myself. Any last words, Ari?
Nah, I think that's it. I guess we'll see you on Friday.
And until next time, we will talk to you then.